But I mean, if you call me Sean.
Okay, guys. Old Man G here, back again with another video for Red Devil Studio. Today we've got a couple of guests on this channel where we're going to basically discuss fans' expectations for the upcoming 2019-2020 Premier League season. Before we get in, just a few introductions. We're going to tell a bit about what team they support, maybe a bit about themselves. So introductions. So first,
Sean or Famincio, and I support Liverpool.
Cool.
And I guess am I doing my piece now or just?
No, that is fine. That's fine, mate. That's fine. Next,
OJ. I support Chelsea.
Team Chicago 1. I support Arsenal. Also have a YouTube channel, so it better be in the link below.
and
Alana or A-Dog, and I support whatever team people bully me into supporting when I'm watching football with them.
On this occasion today, it's Liverpool.
Okay, guys. So yeah, that's everybody. Hopefully you'll be with us for the next 20 minutes, half an hour or so, depending on how long this goes. Please post your questions, comments in the chat, and we hope to get to them as well. But yeah, stay tuned. So first things first, we're just going to start with questions for these guys. So for Sean, and this is just a general question for everyone here, what are your thoughts on your team's overall performance last season? So I'm going to go to Famincio or Sean first. Yeah.
No.
This is funny because it's in descending order. So Liverpool finished above Chelsea. Chelsea finished above Arsenal. So it's nice that way.
Banter, isn't it?
And we finished.
I'm sure we'll be talking about that a lot.
Okay, you go for it, Sean.
Awesome, yeah. I think Liverpool, right from the get-go of the season, we were under a lot of pressure because I think not only the teams, but a lot of managers were saying that Liverpool have to win. They have to win something. If it's not the Premier League, then it's some form of cup.
Okay.
So I felt that they'd done really well to maybe win the most prestigious competition in the Champions League.
Okay.
Which we always do well in the Champions League regardless anyway. I mean the Brendan Rodgers reign was maybe the sort of the standout awful Champions League run that we've had. But apart from that, yeah, I think considering, I mean it's quite right what the managers were saying, what everybody else was in the Premier League, the players and the managers were saying in terms of.
Well, not really though. Glenn Hoddle, Kevin Keegan. What do you say?
Oh no, it was more managed than that. Like there was who was it that had a pop at Liverpool? Harry Kane. He was someone. He was like going, Liverpool's got to win something.
Okay.
Yeah, and a couple of other managers, they said, Liverpool. I think we were top or second most spent in the Premier League last season.
I think it was second.
Second, yeah.
I think it was second.
So second. If you've spent that much money that you come second to most to spending the most, I feel that you definitely have to. I agree with the players. I agree with the managers. You have to win something. You have to come away with something. Okay. Otherwise, it's just what would the boardroom say to you? Okay. You spent over 100 million.
Okay.
And what happened? You got yourself a Champions League place. I mean, Arsenal did that for 15 years running. Without spending any money. So there's no excuse.
Okay.
So to win the Champions League was a must. Like we had to do that or the Premiership.
Okay, fine. So overall experience is that like happy as a Liverpool fan, like no issues, no complaints. You felt like your team got what they deserved basically,
yeah.
and overall like positive thoughts, basically.
Positive thoughts,
okay.
Yeah. I think they're just because of the pressure. Like, but we sort of rose to the pressure and just got ourselves a Champions League.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So next on to OJ, Chelsea. What were your thoughts? I mean, I'm interested to see what you're gonna. It's gonna say.
Oh my days.
Who's in charge again? Kepa? No.
I mean, there's so much to talk about. First off, we sacked Conte, and then we didn't hire Sarri until probably some days to start pre-season. and then we started the season pretty good. I think we had a long stretch of being unbeaten. I think it was 13 games or something, or 13 straight wins or something like that. I don't recall though, but it was a good it was a good period up until December. Everyone was hailing Sarri ball for being brilliant, for being incisive and whatnot, and then the collapse happened, where Sarri ball wasn't Sarri ball anymore. The fans were going at Sarri, and Sarri was making questionable tactical decisions also during games, making funny substitutions at the same time also. But in all that, you want to say something?
I was going to say, like, I feel yeah, because I think Sarri, especially at the beginning, he did a good job.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like he was an awful manager. I thought he managed Chelsea really well.
Yeah.
There was some decisions that he was making with Chelsea and Hazard and Willian and things like that. I think he got them playing better.
Do you think that Chelsea fans were maybe a bit too quick? Because from my perspective, Sarri was basically in 4 to 6 months into the job, and he was already being, asked to basically leave. They were wanting him to be sacked, and it was quite visible in the stadium to see Chelsea fans adamantly wanting Sarri to be sacked. Now that the season's obviously finished, do you think that was a bit too premature, a bit harsh?
Well, I don't know. I feel like Sarri.
Just some Newcastle fans outside.
Yeah, they're doing their contribution.
I feel like it was. I'm kind of torn because I don't think Sarri would have been a good fit for this season. But at the same time, I do feel like continuation would have been good because he started something good, and he was going to build on that for the next season. But sadly, Juve came for him, and he couldn't turn down going back home to Italy and whatnot, and for a bigger club, and all. But at the end,
is Juve a bigger club than Chelsea then now?
I mean, any right thinking person will say that. That's a no-brainer. I mean, they call the old lady for a reason though. So, but at the end of the season, he won the Europa League. He got to a Carling Cup final. Finished third in the season.
Successful season.
Although at the expense of Tottenham playing horribly, Tottenham having bad spells, at the expense of Arsenal having bad spells too. But
Still got to win your games.
what?
Still got to win your games.
Well, there we go. So overall it was a good season. Overall it was a good season. Although there are elements that you pick out that were not great.
Okay.
But overall it was a good season. And now there's a transfer ban, and let's see what Lampard does.
We will get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Okay, so for Team Kage 1, an Arsenal fan, what are your overall thoughts on last season? What do you think? Was Emery's first season in charge? What do you think?
I think Emery did what he could do with a bad bunch of players. I think obviously our strike force. I think we've always managed to score goals at Arsenal. With Aubameyang and Lacazette, like it doesn't matter who's behind them, they're going to score. Whoever's the playmaker or whatever. But it's just the same thing, which is probably since Sol Campbell days, we haven't had a good solid defender like that. And that's the only thing that's still missing. Until we get that fixed, it's just going to be the same old. Like, I'm not watching Arsenal this season. No, I'm not. Like, already,
interesting.
because it's just like
I'll get you Liverpool top, mate.
it's just you're on edge when you watch Arsenal. Because at any given moment, like any team can score against them because of our defence.
Okay.
We've got problems at the start of this season already. Koscielny didn't travel with us to the States or wherever it was.
Okay.
So he could be on his way out, or he's fallen out with the manager. Which he's one of our captains, so that's how it meant to be our best defender and one of our captains. So that it's just abysmal. Torreira has been rumoured to go to AC Milan. I don't know if that's a real thing or not. But until we get that sorted, we need one world-class centre-back at least. And I know we're trying to sign this
Saliba, is it?
from Saint-Etienne or some French club, which is all fine and dandy, but apparently it's a loan deal. Like we buy him and then we loan him back to them for a year. What, like, I don't know where, like, which monkeys are in charge of negotiations at Arsenal.
It sounds like a bit of a cheat, doesn't it? Because like if you loan them back, they end up giving you the money back that you've just paid them a little bit. And it just like seems like a bit
exactly.
It's a bit weird. Like
So-
I never got it because we did exactly the same thing with who was it that we bought? Liverpool bought someone
On loan.
and he was on loan, and then I think it was Cater. It might have been Cater. Like we.
Oh, yeah, I can't
It was
remember.
like something
I think
was
you're
up
right,
with-
actually.
yeah,
No, I
yeah.
think you're right.
Something was up with Cater. We like bought him and then but he was like allowed to stay.
For another year.
Yeah.
It was very strange.
Yeah.
Very, very strange.
And there was somebody else that we bought as well, and then he went on loan for like 2 years, exactly the same thing. And it's just like.
I mean, you don't see. Well, yeah. I mean, Liverpool now have the quality to do those kind of things if they still do them. Obviously, they did it with Keita. Arsenal don't have that kind of luxury.
Okay.
Everything.
But do you think just into because let's be honest here, Arsenal actually in, and I'm going to say my piece about you Manchester United soon, but Arsenal were in actually a very good position towards the end of last season.
Third.
Okay, they were third at one point. They had most of their remaining, I think, 6-7 games were actually at home. Well, no, sorry, no, I tell a lie. They were away, but they were one against
No,
particularly.
the 3 home games were pretty decent.
There were three very decent home games, which, to be honest, if I recall, they lost against Crystal Palace, I think, at home.
Lost to Palace.
And I think
Leicester.
they drew. That was Leicester away, I think, and then they drew, I think, against Brighton. I think that might have actually been at home as well, or away. I can't remember. But the point is that you had a favourable last run, and you were actually in the Europa League. So Emery put Arsenal in a good situation. So why was it that at the end of the season that Arsenal capitulated?
Could be. I mean, there's a lot of factors. Could be fitness. You see Arsenal's training sessions, and you look at Liverpool's training sessions. Liverpool pre-season training. They're doing a bleep test on the first day, checking their fitness. Arsenal are jumping over hurdles and I don't know, leapfrogging each other and trying to nutmeg each other. And it's just there's levels to this.
Yeah.
There's levels, like serious levels. Liverpool and City are like a cut above everybody.
Yeah.
With the whole stuff with Ozil, which we'll probably go into later.
Yeah.
That probably affects other players too. Obviously, Ramsey's on his way. Ramsey's already gone, and he was probably our best player. Like, that isn't a striker by far. Just what he brought to the team, not just goals and assists. And people probably look at Ozil and say like, oh well, if I can do half the work and get a lot of money, I'll just copy him. It's not a good model to have. Not just in football, just in general. Like, it shows that people don't really have to work too hard for anything.
Makes Ozil look like a bit of an idiot, though, doesn't it? Because,
Yeah, I mean,
he's supposed to be a role model to like say, like if you're to my standard, then you have to work hard, you have to perform, and
he just takes the mick, doesn't he? And he'd rather just stream Fortnite on Twitch. So, and he's good at Fortnite, probably as good as he is at football. So that's a bit awkward. Yeah, that shouldn't.
Well, he doesn't have to be energetic on Fortnite. He can just sit
No. And then do his daft little celebration.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to say my piece about United. Obviously, this is a Manchester United fan channel. We obviously finished. Sixth last season, behind Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man City, and so on. And Liverpool. I didn't want to, I didn't want to mention, but of course, Liverpool. We finished behind Liverpool.
I won't let you get away with that.
So my overall performance the last team of the season, I think, it's mixed. I think because obviously we had two managers. For just under the first half of the season, we had Mourinho. We came to the season it was quite negative, and if you look at this transfer window, you can kind of see why. Mourinho felt he wasn't backed, he wasn't going to get his players, and he knew that, And so even in pre-season, there was a sort of this idea that, you know, if we finish in the top 4, it's going to be a miracle type of mentality. And he carried that mentality into the season. So there was a lot of negativity going into the season, really. And that just, and that continued, you know. And I think that when we lost to, I say that though, the funny thing is that it almost dragged on because there were quite a lot of games that what I call comeback games, where we conceded. And against, I think it was Newcastle at home. I remember the specific one.
2-0 down.
We were 2-0 down the first time. Like, for goodness sake, he needs to be sacked in the morning. And then somehow in the season it's 3-2, and you're like, and then this happened a few times. You know, I think Crystal Palace, was another game. There were a few examples where this happened, and it was like, it was almost delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
And I think, in a sense, Liverpool actually did us a favour. Because we basically went to Liverpool and the performance was just abject. And when you're playing Matic, McTominay and Fellaini in your midfield against Liverpool FC, you know, it was just like, no, he's got it. So it went. And obviously Ollie took the wheel. And I don't think we had any expectations because at the end of the day, he was given a job as an interim. So he wasn't supposed to be the permanent manager.
Exactly.
It was supposed to bring some positivity to the club,
Which he did.
for a short period, you know, just to get things back. I don't think anyone expected us to go for an 15-game unbeaten run under him. I don't think people expected that.
Responsible, things like that can happen. Do you get me?
What do you mean?
Like, obviously, when you're a full-time manager,
Yeah.
the board gives you expectations. I'll
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
this and this. You're interim, just like fill in for now until we get somebody. You can just,
Yeah.
all right, let's give it a go. You know?
Yeah.
All guns gung ho.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think, to be honest, I would have preferred if Ed Woodward, if the board actually could wait until the end of the season to decide on the manager giving a job. I think that would have been better. That said, I do empathise with them somewhat because after that PSG game in Paris,
Oh,
you know,
emotional.
it was emotional. It was, you know, I was watching before my exam, which could have contributed to issues there. But my goodness, it was, you know, no one I think we lost 1-0 against PSG at Old Trafford. Understandably, no one expected this. And then when we go like a goal up in the first couple of minutes, you're like, okay, you know, and it was, you know, this shouldn't really happen. You know, let's be honest. You know, it's because it was 2-0 away. You know, it's 2-1. Okay, we'll see what happens. And then, of course, they get their goal, and you're like, okay, it's over. It's 3-1. And then Rashford scores. You're like, okay, it's 3-2. I mean, right? Okay, it's. And then the last 89 minutes where we get that penalty via VAR, which is, and we might maybe talk about that actually, by the way, just in later. But what I guess I'm trying to say is that emotion was one of probably the best moments the United fans have felt for years. And so it was understandable that went to management opportunity.
It's like when a politician is running for a position and then something happens in the country, which obviously stirs a lot of emotion. They're like, oh, we need someone to latch onto, right? That's kind of a bit like the Oli thing. Because obviously there was so much emotion that like, as an Arsenal fan, I was gassed when Rashford slotted in that penalty. So immediately you're thinking, like, we've got to give him the job. Like, there's no other. Yeah, so you can understand why he got it perfectly, but it's. I
think it was about time though, because you needed a little bit of Man United to come back into that because after
killed it, bro.
it did. Yeah, I mean,
Disaster.
yeah. To get back to them Ferguson days. I mean, I don't think you ever will, purely because Ferguson was such a great manager.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like who's out there that's going to be Ferguson standard. So like, which is a shame in a way, but you know, you've got Man United now with Ollie in there, who was part of that Ferguson reign. So he kind of has that. He brings maybe that atmosphere with him a little bit. So like, I felt it was a good move, and it. Dare I say, I wasn't too surprised when I saw them doing well after Ollie got in. Yeah, just because there is a little bit of heart there from Ollie. There's a little bit of passion in there. So, and it just felt like that's what it was. Like that's what I needed. Just for, sometimes when I saw Man United out there, I was like, I was almost like, as a Liverpool fan, I was just like, something not right here. There's like no competition there. Like, you know, it's almost like boring when they came to Anfield. It was just like, all right, well, you know, but you know, you want that passion back. You want them fans to, you know, the fans to feel it. You want the managers to feel it. You want it to like, because it's a worldwide game. Man United against Liverpool. I mean, you're kidding. That's like the one of the when the fixtures comes out, you look for, as a Liverpool fan, you look for Everton, you look for Man United. They're the two games that you look for. So if Man United's not on the ball, it sort of takes that away a little bit. So
no, that's a big that's a big thing, and I agree with that. I agree, and I just, to be honest, I think, to be honest, we could pitch it wasn't because of for fitness. To be honest, I think that as Team Kage one Arsenal fan. He said earlier about fitness. We are basically ranked as one of the slowest teams in the Premier League in terms of distance covered. Yes, especially under Mourinho.
Really?
You know,
My days.
We were the slowest in terms of covering distance, and Ollie made it clear that he wanted people to be quick, to be fast, and I just think that fitness levels wise, we couldn't cack it, and which is why a lot of our players are getting injured and weren't able to cope, and was sort of tired towards the end, but. That's it.
I would, It's the last point. I mean, that's. I would purely say, Klopp and Guardiola, the way they play has raised that standard. So to beat Liverpool and City, you either have to match them in the press, which when they play each other is amazing to watch. I mean, when Arsenal played Liverpool at the Emirates, you saw in the second half that we could match that. We were all over them in that second half. Liverpool were all over us in the first half, and probably should have. I think that was a disallowed goal, which shouldn't have been. But once we matched their press, we managed. So it shows that we do have the fitness. We just there must be something else.
It's consistency with the fitness. I think that's the fitness.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? In the levels, the skill obviously too, but the consistency and fitness.
Okay.
I suppose at that stage as well, it comes down to squad depth. As well, because like, I mean, you have City with someone like Sane on the bench. It's like he's a Premiership winner, you know, like, and he's sitting on the bench.
German national on the bench, like it's
that's
Arsenal
what I
mean. It's not even worth talking about. No benches.
Like Phil Jones.
Have you seen the memes yet? Pre-season, Phil Jones is back and he does his face and.
Right, okay, so the next couple of questions will just be a bit more short and straightforward. So, first question, go to OJ actually. Your MVP for Chelsea for last season, who was your most valued player?
I mean, it's obvious.
Is it? Eden Hazard.
Easy.
Hazard.
Easy.
That is an easy one actually. There's times where you just carried the team, and it's like just like one man team.
When he left, it's weird. I like appreciate him more. So weird because I'm not even a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
When he left, I was like, that guy he's a special player. You know? Like seriously, I know I gave him criticism. Sometimes he disappears in big games and stuff, but that
big
guy.
Games?
Yeah.
Big games. That's where he shows himself actually.
I mean, obviously in the Europa League final, he was fantastic. I mean, can't think off the top of my head, but there were a few games against bigger clubs. Maybe
like Man City 6-0 away. You know what I mean?
Everyone disappeared clearly.
But even on the pitch there was
but you get me. But he is a special player.
It's still like a blur though. That's 6-0. I don't believe it happened.
top five in the world by far. I mean,
just
probably top three.
Just imagine this season, but without Hazard.
you know what?
You need Lampard to come back on the pitch. And
I feel like Pulisic is going to pull his stunner this season. I don't expect a lot of goals or assists from him. Just like the way Hazard wasn't giving a lot of goals and assists. But I feel like you feel him in the game. He will be an example of stats don't tell the full story. That sort of thing. So yeah. But my worst player goes to Willian. Willian is my worst player every season for the last 2-3 seasons tops.
Surely not Alonso.
No.
That's trash.
Definitely Willian. Willian's decision making for a 29-year-old is sad. Willian, I don't think Willian has scored more than 10 goals in the season since he came to Chelsea. For a forward, that's poor. I mean, Pedro is clocking at least 10.
Right.
Yeah, even when he doesn't play consistently, but Willian's decision making, Willian's finishing, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, and he refuses to leave. Barcelona. There were rumors that Barcelona brought, I think it was about 40 million plus Malcolm for Willian in January, and he said he wasn't going anywhere. That Chelsea is his dream club, and he's going to stay there.
Okay.
I think they even came again this summer, 40 million. He said he's not going anywhere. So, I mean, the only thing that was going to make him leave, though, was if Conte stayed.
Yeah, it's the sort of player you want on your team, isn't it?
Yeah, like.
I mean, you doesn't want to leave anywhere.
I mean,
Man, it's like Bill.
I mean,
It's like Bill for Madrid.
yeah. I mean, like
Yeah.
if they're like good, I mean, like Phil Jones doesn't want to leave. I mean, it's not really helpful. But we'll get to that. Okay, Team Kage won. Arsenal MVP and worst player.
MVP, Torreira.
Okay.
By far. In the Europa League final, he shouldn't have been taken off in the first place, but he came off crying. Make of that what you will, but I think that's because he's passionate about the club. I think anywhere he goes to, maybe it's like a South American thing or Uruguay, and they got they put their hearts on their sleeve type of thing. Yeah, he was really, really good in his first season too. It was only like 25, 30 million. I can't remember now. Either him or... Yeah, no, I'd say him. Even though... But other three mentioned, Iwobi played fantastic. What's his name? Aubameyang and Lacazette were fantastic too.
And your worst player. I have a feeling I know who it is, but go for it.
Well, I actually got a few. I mean, anyone who wasn't mentioned there. No, I'm not joking. Actually, no, Maitland-Niles was fantastic. And I'm glad Reece Nelson's back this season. Joe Willock's been promoted as well. He's fantastic.
Who's you think?
I think Koscielny was bad, to be honest. He came back and was bad, and then he had couple of good games. He's a bit like Phil Jones, if I'm honest with you. He has a couple of good games, and people are like, oh, but he's not what he used to be at all. Mustafi was useless. Leno was fantastic. I forgot to mention him. He was absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
Monreal.
I saw a video.
Too old.
I saw a video.
I've just mentioned the whole squad.
No, there's this Twitter account, Out of Context Arsenal. Have you seen it? So they just kind of tweet videos without context concerning Arsenal. So they were talking. This video was about Arsenal Fan TV, and there was this guy that was praising Mustafi signing, and he was even comparing Mustafi to David Luiz, and he said David Luiz was expensive for 30 million, and Mustafi was a bargain for 35 million, and Mustafi was worth 50 million, and then here we are.
So he said that before, like when we signed him.
Yeah, when you guys signed him.
That wasn't translated well.
It's funny, like with Mustafi, because when you're trying to put a price tag on Mustafi, I wouldn't know where to go because I don't want to buy him. I just don't want to buy him.
And how do you sell him? So like, what's he worth? Like,
Yeah.
No, baby. But Richie Shaw who was Liverpool's MVP of the season.
Yeah.
Got a few.
Yeah.
When a team wins the Champions, when a team wins the Champions League, everybody is an MVP. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's a bit profound, isn't it? But you know what I mean. A person who wins a Champions League is a team. No matter what year, like obviously Bale and Ronaldo, when you've got players like that, you know they can save a whole team. But there's still everybody does a job, right?
Yeah.
And Liverpool, there's no one who can walk away from that and be like, oh, I didn't play well. The bench, look what your bench did throughout the whole season, not just the Champions League.
Shaqiri,
Origi. Come on, you got a bench like that, like just. I wouldn't call them average players.
I mean, even Wijnaldum came on for.
Yeah. To just come on, it's
Yeah, it was.
It's
Do you have at least one or two then, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I preach it. Team Chicago 1 pretty much summed it up. Yeah, it was like,
who was Liverpool's worst player though?
Worst player. I mean, I'm so glad that Moreno's gone now because he was just sort of like, I mean, he was a bench warmer and he was somebody that could come on and just
fair play to him
fill
as well,
the place. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, playing his part. Worst player. I mean, I don't know.
Has to be Matip.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
No, hold on. Worst player doesn't mean they played badly. We're talking worst player compared to everyone. Storyboard. Story scored important goals, man. He scored against PSG.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he scored the PSG. Yeah, he scored that Chelsea goal.
He scored against Chelsea too.
Yeah. I mean,
but Matip was fantastic.
What I mean is, like, compared to everyone, compared to every other player in the team, it was the worst, but he was really good.
I tell you, from if I had to give an answer, I would say I still hold my breath when Lovren comes on the field. If I had to pick a worst player, I would probably say that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Lovren's the only one where I'm sort of like, damn, do we really not have anyone else that can, like, are there any fans out there that can, Lallana? Well, Lallana's another one. It's just like when he comes on, it's just like you can't hold the ball, you can't dribble with the ball. I mean, he was a brilliant player. He really was. I think just that
the long injury, I think, took him out.
That one injury was. He really is. He's a West Brom player or something now. Like that's where you'd have him. I mean,
he's made for Everton, Crystal Palace, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Like that kind of player.
Mediocrity.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say that.
Yeah, and it sounds it sounds really harsh because he's done good service to the club. Like he's been at the club for a while. He's been through the Brendan Rodgers reign and the Klopp reign. It's not like he's complained about anything or that he was like a bad person in the dressing room or anything. He is a good player. It's just that the standards that we're at now, I think, just doesn't match that.
He's not anywhere near.
Yeah, it just doesn't match the part of what we are now. So, like, I mean, yeah, like, Lovren's the one that I sort of hold my breath with. I would hold my breath with Lallana. It's just that he's not playing in defence, you know.
Fine. Okay. As a United fan, this is going to be very interesting. At one point, it would have been David De Gea, but honestly, he cost us a few games towards the end of the season. This is going to be Victor Lindelof. To be honest, that's what it comes to. You know, Pogba's too inconsistent. Rashford, Lingard too inconsistent. Martial, same. You know, what consistent. McTominay, to be fair, although I still don't rate him, actually did show some improvements. You know, and did step up when he was called upon. Same with Fred to a certain extent. Let's not even go and talk about Matic, Phil Jones. The players that need to sort of to go. Ashley Young takes that as well. Actually, I would probably say Victor Lindelof was probably our MVP of the season. Worst player of the season. Jeez. Worst player of the season. I'm gonna give it to Matic. Actually, I'm gonna give it to Nemanja Matic because he is supposed to be our defensive midfield player. Yet he's slow. He doesn't really go in for the tackles. Really, he can't really pass the ball. I mean, when Ollie took over, you saw he initially played quite well for a couple of games, 2 or 3 games, but then it's just like he couldn't keep up with the fitness regime and just completely collapsed. Went back to being slow, not passing forward, not tackling. You know, if you've got Matic protecting Jones and Smalling, when the fact you have Jones and Smalling in your defence, it's not good. So he's my worst player of the season, and really should have been sold this summer.
So it's a big one. That's a big call, that, isn't it, Matic? I mean, for the player that he is, to have to be called the worst player. Well, obviously, in your opinion, the worst player in the Man United side, that's a big one.
I'm curious, Manchester United fans, whether you think I put a thing on Twitter, you know, whether you think he was the worst player of the season. So that's my opinion. Some people may say, oh, it's Pogba because they don't like Pogba, or it was Jones, or what have you. But I just think from the position that he plays, you know, you look at the top 6 sides, they have a very good. You need the defensive midfielders, one of the most important roles in football now, I think. Yeah. City have Fernandinho, Arsenal have Torreira, Chelsea have Kante, Tottenham, it could be anyone from like Dyer, Wanyama. They've got a few that can sort of play in that role.
Liverpool, Fabinho.
You know, Liverpool, Fabinho. You know, so
Even Henderson is like
even Henderson
he's
could
like-
potentially that role. So who do United have? You know, static Matic.
Although
You know, so
Fred
you
did
know.
a bit. When
Fred-
and he had to. I mean, there's no one else.
Yeah, this is the thing.
So
So
and he did a good
Fred
job.
potentially could, even though that's not his natural position, but it just shows, you know, we need an actual proper defensive midfielder. I would have loved to have gotten Ndidi or even Thomas Partey to go into that role, who are tenacious who can do that. But instead, we're gonna stick with Matic for another year and probably concede a couple more goals. Anyway, moving on. Last question before I'm going to ask you everyone a specific question, and then just round up with where you guys expect your team to finish next season. Okay. So last question is, who do you think should or will win the Ballon d'Or?
For me, Virgil van Dijk.
Yep, me too. Virgil van Dijk.
Do we have to say why?
No.
I don't think so. Yeah, of course. Virgil van Dijk is one of them ones, and it's like I mean, he just came in, changed the entire team, changed the whole dynamic of what Liverpool was.
I mean, he made Matip look good.
Yeah.
He made anyone next to him. I think we could have, been next to him.
I would have loved to have played next to him.
Right.
Just, yeah.
Do you think also there's a keeper situation as well? So because I agree with you, what I do think though is I think that Sadio Mane should get a mention. I think because I think it's easy to see Van Dijk's influence because you can so easily compare with or without Van Dijk. Whereas because Sadio Mane I don't think he's ever really been injured in the league, in the Champions League.
It's true.
That you don't really know his impact. Like you look at even the semi-final against Barcelona, Firmino, Salah weren't there, but Sadio Mane was playing, and yes, okay, he didn't score the goal, but he was there, and I think that Sadio Mane's position is often quite underestimated, sometimes even by Liverpool fans, and I think that because he is so available and consistent, I don't think you would really. It's only when he'd not be there that I think you'd actually realise, whoa, hang on a minute. So much so that I actually think he was a better player than Salah this season, in my opinion.
Mane.
Sadio Mane, yes,
Yeah.
I think he was a better player than Salah this season, and I think he was their best forward player. When you think that potentially Senegal could win an African Cup of Nations, Sadio Mane has an African AFCON.
They're in the final.
And
They beat Tunisia.
They beat Tunisia, so they're in the final.
Senegal.
Did they? News just in.
There you go. So he could win an AFCON basically, and he's a Champions League winner.
Yeah.
If we're talking about Ballon d'Or in terms of trophy achievements, that's something.
He's a great player.
You know?
I mean,
that's a shout, I'd say.
Yeah, he was one of Liverpool's most consistent players. Like you say, he was never injured, and he was just even when he wasn't at his best, he was still putting in a good shift, performing really, really well, completing his dribbles, and
to think that Van Gaal wanted Sadio, but Sadio Mane.
yeah, man.
But the board vetoed the deal because they didn't think Mane was United caliber, quote unquote. It was a gamble. It was a gamble.
A few of those with Arsenal
It was a gamble.
where we've meant to sign very, very,
Very
good
good
players,
players.
but either they've messed around in the negotiations, like with the Suarez, 40 million plus a pound. It's like Suarez is like, are you a joke to me?
Yeah. When I actually saw that come in, the Suarez thing, the 40 million plus £1, I actually panicked a little bit. I was just like, it sounds like it's technically possible.
Actually, they should have accepted that because they triggered the release clause.
Yeah.
Because how much did they bid originally?
It was like, I think there was like 3 bids. Like a couple of them went under the radar, and then eventually there was
And then they asked for
that one
40
came
million.
up.
yeah.
And then they gave him 40 million.
Yeah.
No,
I
I think they heard that there was a clause in his contract that said
40 million.
A Premier League team can trigger his can trigger a release clause of 40 million. Now the 40 million is release clause, and then Arsenal put 40 million plus one pound, just in case.
Yeah,
We didn't say
Just
40
in case,
million plus
really.
one. We said 40 million.
That's it. And it was a little bit of squeaky bum time because like at the time I was thinking to myself, that's clever. And Suarez wants to leave,
True.
so 40 million plus
really
one.
wanted to go to Arsenal, so
He did, but
wouldn't have got away.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, before we move on, just some brief comments from A-Dog over here. As in the Women's World Cup has finished and the USA won. So I'm just going to get some brief comments from A-Dog, who happens to be from the USA, on how proud she is of the US national team. Thoughts, A-Dog?
Being completely honest, I did not watch it.
Okay.
Nor did I have any idea it was happening until after it was finished.
Okay.
But I have heard that the US team may have behaved in a way that was maybe not terribly kind to the other team.
Right.
And
They gloated, basically.
and possibly gloated and
okay.
made fun of the other team.
Right, okay.
Which I don't particularly enjoy at all.
It's that Team America kind of,
I guess.
I can't swear on this.
But I think
this
any
thing, so.
team, it's silly. Like, if you're a good player, you can be a good player without making fun of the other team.
Okay.
Play well and win,
Okay.
but don't base it on. Don't be cruel.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
whenever
It's a sport thing, though. I mean, come on. You hear people like Zlatan say things like, "I've won more trophies than the whole of the MLS put together." I mean, you hear him say things like, you hear him say horrible things, literally.
in terms of the women's national team, though, I felt that like every single time they got the other team got a free kick outside the box, they built really good walls to stop the.
I see what you did there. That's
Shame on you.
funny.
Shame on you.
Funny.
So I mean, it's
I am a Trump supporter. Just let people know.
it's unfair.
Right, we might edit that out. Right.
We're sacking him. So I think it's unfair. It's unfair for people to hammer on the fact that the American football team were quote unquote too proud. I mean, they are basically the best women's team in the world.
Well, there's a difference between pride and
Being proud.
yeah. Like, you can be proud of your playing without being cruel. And I don't know. I didn't see it, so I didn't see it. So I'm not sure. From what I heard and from what I've read.
I'm going to interject. We're going
I
to
did-
move on
I did
because we
see
don't have a
it.
lot of time, because I think
I did see it. Sorry, let me just chip this in real quick.
Okay, fine.
I did see it, and it felt like it's exactly. It's like American football when they showboat. It's not fair to the team that just lost the point, but it's part of the game.
Okay.
I mean, you don't expect humility from footballers and stuff when they are really good and they know they're good.
As long as they take it when they play bad, I don't
Exactly. It's give and take.
Right, okay, quickly moving on. So in the last 10 minutes of the podcast, so I'm just going to ask each of the guys an individual question, which they should hopefully only have 1 minute to answer, and then we'll just end off with where these guys expect the teams to finish next season. What are the expectations? So to Liverpool, will Liverpool win the title this coming season?
Yeah, well, that's a tough one, isn't it? It just depends on. I mean, what do you really say to the dressing room? Like, don't lose. Like, don't get a draw and don't lose. No, you can't. What do you really say? I mean,
I saw an interesting fact this season. It was just like, had this, and I guess it's the importance of head to head, because had Liverpool drawn against Manchester City away, not only would they have won the title, but they would have gone the whole Premier League season unbeaten,
undefeated. Yeah, well, that's the thing.
and they would have won a back-to-back Premier League. You just on that one game, you Liverpool could essentially achieve legendary status by basically being not only beating the invincible record. We're actually winning a Premier League
Yeah.
and Champions League title as well, and
Just
getting
which-
100
which-
points.
Which
City,
yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what
It goes back to my
After League City.
It goes back to that point I just made. It's like, what do you say to them? Do you just say, okay, this time round we're not going to lose a game? I think the only thing you can purely say is look, lads, let's do exactly the same as we did last season. We're just going to go into every single game, trying our absolute best, and just see where we are at the end of it. If Man City beat us again, then what do you do?
Okay.
So
I would fire them up for a City game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. This time round, just like say, look,
I think they will fire up themselves though.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they won't want a repeat of last season where they lost to Man City. So I think they'll be fired up too. They'll
And
be
a lot
fired
of
up.
draws too.
Yeah.
Maybe
Drawing
13?
to
No,
small,
not
to
13.
small.
No, I
small
think it
clubs.
was less than that. I think it was like 8.
They should literally steamroll everyone.
Yeah. So I expect them to be second or first, something like that. That's my season expectation. I'd obviously love to see them win the Premiership.
Okay.
If they don't, then what do you do?
So top two at least.
Yeah.
Do you think we might get the Champions League again?
We always do really well in the Champions League, so I'm always optimistic in the Champions
You've
League.
been to like the last two Champions League finals. Liverpool were in the last two Champions League finals. So you expect another Champions League final, maybe?
Yeah. I'd imagine as now that we're defending it as well. Like I think we'll do well again. Once again, we've got to be up there. I think we're going to be one of the most feared teams in Europe. So it's I think it's going to be a good chance, and either Premiership or Champions League, one of them two. I reckon
We'll probably do like a group stage reaction
Yeah.
thing as well when those come out.
That'd
Right.
be cool. Yeah.
To Arsenal, will Arsenal finish in the top 4 this season?
Okay, next person.
just no.
Until there's evidence that a defender has been signed. I don't mean a left back or a right back. Because
It seems Arsenal are linked with forward players, wingers and stuff.
That's what I don't understand. I don't get it. The places we don't need.
Tierney or something like that. And you're like, Tierney's great, but he's not a centre back, is he?
You need a left back though. I think Tierney's a left back.
Yeah, but we need
We do need a left back.
centre back before we need a left back. Because Kolasinac is a left wing back, right?
He's horrible.
He's okay.
He's horrible.
No, like sometimes you just score. If you score more goals, you win the game, right? So like with him, there's an attacking threat. He can't defend.
His decision making up front is horrible.
No, it's not that bad, right?
Bro, you won the Europa League final, didn't you?
Yeah, no, he was bad in that game, but there's been games this season he's been good. Anyway,
He should be converted to CB.
I don't. But he's strong. He's quick.
He can defend. He's strong and he's quick. He's
Yeah, but
decent in the
there's
air
a bit,
too.
yeah, marking, positioning. Yeah, but we'll see anyway. But if there's no evidence that the centre backs have changed, or there's young ones in, or we've signed someone, then we're not finishing the top. There's no chance. We might not even get top 6.
All right. Okay. So basically,
Look everybody. Look how much people are spending.
Yeah.
Even Villa have signed like how many players?
yeah.
Everybody is spending apart from us.
Yeah.
So we've got some Martinelli. Apparently, he's another attacker we just signed.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's going to be a good player.
What about
he's
you?
another
What's his
attacker.
name? Holding is going to be back.
Okay,
isn't he?
Holding's
So-
back, and he
so-
was fantastic while he was
So
here.
Holding and Socrates.
Bellerin's come back, and he was
Yeah.
really good as well.
So,
But I'm still, like I said, it doesn't. There's still no world-class defender. So yeah.
Right, Chelsea. Will Lampard be successful as Chelsea boss?
Anything above 5th is a miracle.
Okay.
Anything above 5th is a miracle. The only reason why I think the only reason why we'll finish in the top 4 is because Man U and Arsenal will be bad. And if Man U comes good, Chelsea's going to finish 5th.
Okay.
Straightforward.
So you think that Lampard, he can't carry?
I don't have a lot of faith in him.
Okay.
For obvious reasons.
Okay.
He's only had 1 year in management.
Okay.
As much as to a degree having quote unquote experience doesn't necessarily translate.
Yeah.
I mean, Zidane won a whole lot of trophies, back-to-back Champions Leagues. I mean, his first season he won Champions League, second season he won Champions League, third season he won Champions League. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he won.
Champions
Yeah.
Leagues,
So
and
I mean,
La Liga titles.
yeah. So I mean,
And Pep Box for the other.
yeah. I mean, yeah. So Lampard could get lucky. Although I see a lot of tactical changes and tactical experiments coming from him to try to outfox his opponents and whatnot. But I'm not optimistic. The personnel he's got is 5th place level currently. I mean,
is Giroud staying?
Yeah, Giroud is staying. I mean, our best striker is Olivier Giroud. Come on. Giroud is not known for scoring more than 15 goals in a season.
You're getting Tammy Abraham back, I think, young players and so on. So.
Tammy Abraham's last spell in the Premier League was not good. I think he scored only 8 goals or
He
something.
really wants to play for Chelsea. Like, there's a fire in our voice told him he doesn't want to move anywhere else. He wants to be that Chelsea.
I hope the fire translates to goals though.
Yeah, you
I do hope. Although I've
Lampard's
got
the right guy for that, right?
who?
He's the right guy
To stoke the fire, yeah. Fair enough. Although I see a lot of missing Mount, I see a lot of. I think Michi Batshuayi will score more than 20 goals this season. Yeah, I do.
He did for Dortmund.
Well, yeah.
And
but
I think he went there.
He was horrible at Valencia though.
Yeah.
I think because they outplayed him. Yeah, that's recent low spell. Yeah. He
got
got injured.
For the guy, though. You feel for the guy just being loaned left, right, and centre. You feel.
Well, Divock Origi was loaned and
Came back and did magic. Yeah.
That's super sub in this.
So I'm but the main thing everyone is looking out for is blooding the youngsters. So a lot of people are hoping for maybe Mason Mount, probably Reece James. I think Reece James is injured currently.
The ones you have now when they come back, what's his name?
Loftus-Cheek?
No.
Mason Mount?
No, the guy's injured. Left winger.
Oh, Hudson-Odoi.
Hudson-Odoi, yeah, exactly. That's young talent.
Hudson-Odoi will give you a lot of
I
assists.
completely forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about him.
He's
already training though.
He's training.
He's already training, yeah.
Because when Hudson-Odoi and Ruben Loftus-Cheek on that field, it looked like a different Chelsea team, to be honest.
Yeah.
When they were out of that team. Although, to be fair, they didn't play in the final, I think, of the Europa League. But I think that was more Arsenal's capitulation than the fact that Chelsea were amazing. And if you have Kante in your team, you always have a chance. That's what I always say.
Team Takage one's like, can we stop talking about Arsenal?
As soon as Kante's on that team.
If Kante is in your team sheet, you have a chance.
I don't think we can win against Kante.
No.
So 5th position, anything above that is a miracle.
Fine. Yeah. I will quickly touch the thoughts on Manchester United. What are my expectations? My expectations are at least top 4. I think that because we can't afford to be in Europa League again, we need to be able to sign players, attract good players, but also we need to see some progress. And we need to be competing for top 4. As simple as that. I don't think Ollie has been backed properly. I know we've spent, but the nature of the players, I just think we've
How dare you say he hasn't been back properly?
He's been.
How dare you?
I don't think he's been back properly.
How dare you say that?
Why should I say why?
That's sacrilege.
Why? That's not sacrilege. I don't think he's been. Considering the fact that Mourinho and Van Gaal both got in excess of £200 million, and I'd also argue that the players that we've got, which are British, there's a British tax to those players, So it's not like I think that Harry Maguire or even Aaron Bissaka are worth the amount that they are. It's just that for some strange reason, British players cost more. The same type of player in a different position. Harry Maguire could go in for 80 million. De Ligt is going to Juventus for 60. Now,
Harry Maguire is 60 plus add-on.
Yeah, but still, like the fact that they're still the same. De Ligt is clearly a better defender than Harry Maguire, but the British tax makes the player more expensive, and so you have to bear that in mind, that there is a premium when it comes to buying. But apparently 91 young British players, so that's it. But my expectation on it is top 4, ideally maybe
4th.
4th with at least maybe a trophy, like a League Cup or an FA Cup, something like that.
What?
But that's my expectation.
For a bit of comedic relief, shall we ask A-Dog what her league expectations are for next season?
What do you think,
My
A-Dog?
league expectations are a great deal of debate and conversation amongst my friends, and me not knowing exactly what's going on.
Thank you for the contribution. Thank you for right. Last but not least, we're done this last 2 minutes actually. Just general conversation. Where do you think that your team exactly will finish next season?
Well, the exact. If I was to say, I don't know. I think City is just has slightly more depth still. I just that's the thing. I don't know what Liverpool are planning in the transfer window. Klopp's already stated that there's not much going to be happening, which is scary and not scary at the same time. Because I mean, we've got Ox coming back now, and there are players sort of like
Gomez is coming back, I think as well.
Gomez is coming back. So we have got players coming back. But the thing is once again, you could get injuries again. I think, like I said, but I said right at the beginning, is how does City have Leroy Sané sitting on the bench? A player of his caliber, of his quality, sitting on the bench. I mean, that's proper squad depth that you think to yourself, right?
At one point, they had Kevin De Bruyne on the bench.
Yeah, it's just like what's going on here? It's pretty mad.
It's not fair, is it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, Klopp seems happy. So I couldn't make my mind up to say, we were going to win the Premiership or we're going to come second. I think we're going to be up there though. I think it's definitely going to be second or first. If I had to call it, I would say there might be a little bit more hunger from Liverpool this time round.
Okay.
That might be the edge to take us over the line. So I'll call it now and I'll say that we'll win the Premiership next season.
Fair enough. Watch this space, guys.
Yeah. Please
like, share, and subscribe this video. By the way, OJ, where will Chelsea finish? Position, stat.
Fifth. Yeah. Fifth. Yeah.
Okay. Teams who can't get one. Where will Arsenal finish?
6th or 7th.
6th or 7th, man. No expectations.
I hope there's no Arsenal fans listening. Just like you've just depressed them.
Like, share, and subscribe, Arsenal fans, please.
Hopefully not.
Mine is 4th. Actually, I'm going to say we're going to finish at least in the top 4.
To be fair, that's good progress on the rebuilding process.
Yeah.
Is get 4th place, just get yourself in the Champions League, and then.
That's what Klopp did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Europa League.
Yeah.
Won that.
Yeah.
Got into the Champions League that way.
And then you build on it. That's fine. That's building it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay. Thank you for listening, guys. Hopefully, we're going to do this again more frequently. Please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at WeAreUnitedX. Please comment below. Feedback is very much appreciated. Have a nice evening, guys, and cheers.